Here we come, one human family. To the moon, one human family. To the Mars, one human family. Asteroids, one human family. Jupiter, one human family. Saturn's rings, one human family. Kuiper Belt, one human. Uranus, one human family. Neptune, one human family. Pluto, one human family. Kuiper Belt, one human family. Back to Earth, one human family. Here we come, one human family. Here we come, one human family. Here we come, one human family. Gimbal. Here we come, one human family. 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 Hi, I'm Mike Mongo, and this is Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures, which must make you a future astronaut. Which must make you a future astronaut. Because this is Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures. And if you're here and I'm here at the same time, this means that you are a future astronaut. And that can mean even if you are going to grow up and be a dentist, you can be a dentist astronaut. And that can mean that even if you're going to grow up and be a horticulturist, somebody who grows plants, maybe you'll be a farmer. You could be a farmer astronaut. I think that would be awesome, farmer astronaut. Gimbal's acting kind of funny today. Hi, Gimbal. How are you? Pow, pow, pow. I hope you had a great night. I hope you had a great weekend. No, today is Wednesday. I hope you had a great weekend anyway. I hope you had a great Tuesday. I hope you had a terrific Tuesday, a miraculous Monday, and it is a wonderful Wednesday. Now, I got a question. What if it is not a wonderful Wednesday? Oh, this reminds me, I gotta do this little thing right here. Put that right there. What if it is not a wonderful Wednesday? What if it is a washed out Wednesday? What if the night you had wasn't terrific? What if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed? What if, huh? That happens. It sure does. And so, what if you happen to woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and maybe it's not even your fault? What if it's not your fault that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning and you don't feel good even right now? Remember to breathe. In through the nose, hold. Out through the blowhole like a whale. In through the nose. Hold. And then out like a whale. Whales have a big hole at the top of their head called a blowhole. In through the nose. That jams the oxygen right up into the brain. And then out through the blowhole like a whale. Now, I know that once we do that for a few times, even if we're feeling kind of crummy, that helps immediately. And why would I start the day off with talking about feeling crummy? Well, I feel terrific today, but that doesn't mean that you definitely got here feeling terrific. And I definitely care about you. I care about you a lot. I care about you a lot. And it is important to me how you feel. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to feel empowered. That means strong within. I want you to feel the power you have inside of you. I want you to feel the power you have inside of you. You have miraculous power inside of you. You have the power to think. You have the power to be smart. You have the power to act. You have the power to change. You have the power to grow. You have the power to get there, wherever you want to get to. You have the power to go forward. You have the power to go back. You have the power. You have the ability. You have the capacity to change everyone in your life, to change the entire world. And you have an amazing heart. And even if you and I have not looked at each other in each other's eyes, even if we have not done that today, my heart is so strong that I can tell your heart is great from all the way over here. That's how strong I know your heart is. That's how strong I know your heart is. That's not physical strength. That's not physical strength. Physical strength is like muscle strength. But heart strength, that's compassion. That's a great word, compassion. I know a lot of astronauts who are terrific, who have compassion down really well. And they have been through many struggles to get where they are today. My friend Leland Melvin struggled. He went deaf one time, and he overcame that to become an astronaut. He is really good at math. And a lot of times, people who are good at math aren't good at sports. And sometimes people who are really good at sports aren't good at math. And then there's all those other times where people are good at both, and Leland is one of those. And sometimes when we're good at both, one gets in the way of the other, and he didn't let that happen. Believe it or not, everybody's got challenges. We all have challenges. Believe it or not, being good, being really talented at something is a challenge. You ever have anybody tell you, oh, here's a challenge? You ever have anyone say to you, you've got so much potential. You're just not working up to your capacity, your capability. You're not working up to your potential. Oh man, that's a lot. That can make me wake up a little bit on the wrong side of the bed. Or it could inspire me and make me re-envision how I look at myself. Which is kind of what, this is, for me to start the day talking about this is really important, because here's what I want to talk with you about today. With you, strong heart, world changer, healer, health maker. Here's what I want to talk with you about. I want to talk with you about, why are we going to space? Why go to space? Why not just stay here on Earth? Why go to space? Don't we have other stuff that we're supposed to be doing besides going to space? Isn't going to space just for fun? Isn't that all it about, the whole thing? Well, in a way, I kind of hope that everything is all about having fun, even work. And there's all kinds of stuff to do there's all kinds of different kinds of work to do. I left a very special work to do today, because I'm transitioning. This is a transition. And I'll go back to why we're here today and why we go to space. But before I talk about why we go to space, I'm going to talk about how we go to space. And this is really important. This is the funniest thing. And my friend Ross Everett said this to me. He goes, you always make your bed? And I said, I always make my bed. Every morning I make my bed. Every morning. He goes, really? I said, really? He goes, why? I said, because I love it. I learned how to love making my bed in the Army. And I said, that every astronaut is really good at making their bed. Every single one. Every astronaut is really good at making their bed. And we laughed about that. Ross is a terrific musician. He came up with a song. Hey, Mr. Banana Peel, tell me about how you feel. Hey, Mr. Banana Peel, tell me all about how you feel. I'll sing it to you one day. He's a great guy, Ross. So then it made me think, I was like, you know what? The only reason I became really excited and really into making my bed was because I went to the Army. And I know that a lot of the students that are watching this, all of the students that are watching this, have not been in the military. And so maybe no one ever really showed them why making a bed is fun, or most importantly, how making a bed is fun. So can I do that? Can I take this opportunity? We're going to talk about why we're going to space today. And I also want to talk about, since I have a good reason why we're going to space, how we go to space. And one of the hows is we get to be able to be really good at making a bed. It's a simple thing, and it is 100% fact. Every astronaut is really good at every single astronaut is very good at making their bed. And I want to show you how to do it and enjoy it. Like, that's the key. Because if you do something and you have to do it every day, oh, by the way, while we're on that topic, let's talk about this topic. All these transitions. If you do something and you do it every day, it can be boring. Or you can do something every day and you make it different every single time. And that's repetitive. Excuse me. See, I'm coughing in my sleeve. Perfect. All right, look. Repetition. Repeat. Rep. R-E-P. Repetition. I love shun. T-I-O-N. Repetition. Got it? Repetition. Versus. People always use that. It means against, or opposed to, or in contrast, or opposite of, or compared to. Repetition compared to versus uniformity. Blech. Uniformity. Okay, uniform. Like a police uniform, or a military uniform, or superhero uniform, or an astronaut uniform, uniformity, and that is the condition of being uniform. Uniformity means the condition, or being like uniform all the time. Uniformity is the same thing over and over and over. Uniformity will generate the B word, which is boredom. Hey, what happened with this light? Ooh, un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. Un momento, por. R con R cigarro. R con R barrio. Rápidos carros, los carros para futuro. I forgot the last part. Por la puta barrio. Practicing rolling my R's for my Espanol. Mi Espanol is así. So repetition versus uniformity. So repetition, like doing the same thing. Like I eat every day. That's repetition. I don't eat the same thing every day. That would be uniformity. I get up every morning. That's repetition. I don't get up the same way. Sometimes I'm really excited to jump out of bed, like when some fun stuff is happening. And sometimes I kind of have to drag myself out of bed. And that would make it uniformity, like another day getting up. Repetition would be repetition. I wear clothes every single day. Every day I wear clothes. Uniformity would be if I wore the exact same thing every day. There's a word that's like boredom. It means tedious. Tedious. There's a word that's like boredom. It's tedious. When something is tedious, it's boring. And uniformity can be tedious. It can wear on you. You're like, oh, another day of the exact same shirt. Now, sometimes I just like to wear the same shirt, like 3 days in a row even. Though once it starts to smell, I'm going to change my shirt. That's a fact. But I've been on a camp trip and I wore the same shirt 3 days in a row. And in fact, in the military, I remember being in the military. It was a while ago, 20 years ago. But we had to wear the same stuff, like when we were on exercises and stuff like that. So you work through it. And that would be, and by the way, a lot of times those were adventures. So it was repetition. But if you're doing the exact same thing over and over and it becomes a drag or tedious, that's uniformity. And why do I point this out? Because remember what we were talking about? How to go to space? How to go to space. Let's Gimbal, join us. Join us over here in the bed making zone, Gimbal. Gimbal the robot in control of the camera. That is an unmade bed. Okay, got it? How do you make this bed? That is a fine question. Now, in the military, we had to bounce a quarter off of the sheet had to be so tight that we could bounce a quarter off of it. That's no joke. That was really the situation. I have this nice, soft kitty cat blanket that I sleep on. I love my kitty cat blanket. And I have a dog blanket that I put my head on. And I love my dog blanket. so what the first thing I do is I get you gotta make look, that's impossible. I can't make a bed like this. That's not gonna work. So I get everything ready. And how I do that is I put it off to the side, very first thing. Put it off to the side. Now pillowcases are interesting. I don't know if you notice this, but some pillowcases are longer. They have this extra lip. And I don't know, and it took me a long time to figure out what to do with that. Watch this. You take all the extra lip and you put it all in one side. Now I've had this pillowcase for like 5 years. I love this pillowcase and it's almost worn out, but I love it. So tuck it into one side and look, I made my pillow, okay? Here's my other pillowcases. They don't have, they are slips, they slip on. This one is my Batman pillowcase, Batman and Robin. And this one is my Superman pillowcase. They're matching. Okay, so now basically, if I was making a painting, my painting would be ready to start. I've got everything smoothed out and ready to go. That's the first thing. Got all that stuff over there and got my big blanket right here. Here is a lot, here's where people get caught up all the time. This happens all the time. When we first start making a bed, here's the thing. What am I gonna do with this giant blanket right here? How am I gonna get the edges even? The secret is this. I'm not gonna do it in one fell swoop. It's gonna take me a minute to get it all balanced. And I'm not in a hurry, okay? Like there's cool stuff to do out there. Like talking with you is a pleasure. I definitely am gonna be excited about talking with you about why we're going to space. But first, we're gonna make the bed. So I'm not in a rush. That's one of the keys. Don't be in a rush. Look, this is all uneven. How do I get this? Well, evening it out. This is one of my favorite tricks. Just put a little air under there, and suddenly it starts to get where I want it. So I want the same amount of covers or blanket or quilt on both sides. So I got this amount over here, and it looks like I got about the same amount over here. One of the ways I can tell if that's straight at the bottom right there. And that looks pretty good. Put a little air like that. Just that little bit. Okay, now I got all this extra over here. What am I gonna do with this? Great question. First of all, on this side, I bring it over. I'm not trying to make it all balanced and lean over because then I'll mess this up. What I do is I make it right here. Then I go over here. I'm very happy to have both my legs that I can walk, move around. Look, made it even. And then I folded it. I'm not even worried about walking around my bed. Look how good that looks. Look, it was a complete mess a second ago, and look where we are right now. Then, take my one pillow. Oops, I got a middle pillow. So I put my middle pillow in first. I put my one pillow on this side, and I put my one pillow on this side. Sometimes I put Superman over there, and sometimes I put Batman over here. Just depends on how I'm feeling. Now, this is what I call the finishing touch. I got this blanket right here. And I take the bottom and the top. Now, I'm 6'5", so it's easy for me to stretch out. You might not be able to stretch this out, and it might take a little bit. So if that's the case, you take one part right here, See how it's, and I got that. This is the inside, and you can tell because see, it's a little faded on this side, and there's the seam right there. That's the lip. And on this side, it's a little different. It's brighter. Okay? And see, also the tag is on the inside. That's how you can tell that. This is important stuff. Not everybody, we don't come knowing this stuff. Like grown-ups really forget that. We don't come knowing this stuff. But I remember that, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. And like I said, every single astronaut is very good at doing this. So, like I said, I got the end right here. There's the tag, it's on the inside. And I'm gonna flip this over to here. That's the one side over to the other. Now, over here, I got this over here, and I'm gonna find this tag, this part right over here. Now these are together. I got both sides. When I got them together, I just shake them out, and now it's all even. And then I fold it. Okay, so it's like I got this line right here. I take part of it, bring it right here. Take part of it, bring it right here. I get the dog faces how I want them. And I put it right here. And look how good that looks. What did that take, like 5 minutes? It looks great. I just want to jump on it. It looks so good. But the most important thing about all of that is that, first of all, like I said, all astronauts know how to make their own bed. That's a fact. I got a little bit of a blanket in my eye, a little bit of lint. So all astronauts know how to make their own bed. That's important. And the second thing is that it's so fun to go to bed in a made-up bed every night. Holy smokes! Like every night I get to go. Like it feels good. It feels good. Like I mean, it's like when you're you sleep harder than when you're me. So you can just jump into a messed up bed and be asleep like that. Me, I need to curl up a little bit. I need to just feel good, comfortable. And so this really helps. And so if you ever have any challenges sleeping, having a made up bed is definitely one of the ways to feel really good. I think I forgot to change out the batteries. Really good before you go to sleep. Okay, both lights on. So, look, repetition, uniformity. Every single day that I make my bed, it's repetition. I do it again and again and again. Each day is a little different. Sometimes I play music while I have music in the background while I'm making my bed. It only takes 5 minutes, but I get to listen to a whole song while I'm making my bed. And I bet astronauts do the exact same thing. They probably have music while they're making the bed. Though you and I both know that the beds that astronauts have are very different than these beds. The beds that astronauts have are even on the wall. They're like attached to the wall. They are Velcroed to the wall. They have Velcro on their hands and it sticks to their body. Rip. So that their arms aren't floating around. Now some astronauts don't mind their arms when they're floating when they're sleeping. It kind of just hangs out there. But some astronauts are like, I don't want my arm floating, so they Velcro. And some astronauts get into like a sleeping bag that's on the wall. So why would an astronaut make a bed if the bed's on the wall then? Great question. Because there's a lot we do before we become astronauts, before we get to be an astronaut. Some people think of an astronaut as a job. And in a way it is. But the fact of the matter is this. This is very important. If you want to be an astronaut, you get to bring some sort of skills to being an astronaut. Like even if, like an auto mechanic has skills. Person who works on engines of cars, that's a mechanic. A lot of astronauts are engine mechanics. They know a lot about engines. They just do. A number of astronauts almost all astronauts are very good at math. Some are really good at physics, which is how the forces like electricity and gravity work. Some are fantastic at botany and horticulture, and that's how plants grow. Some are really good at biology. Some are fantastic at biology, so the skills they bring are biology skills to astronautics. Gimbal's a little active today. Maybe it's because I fully charged the robot right before I turned it on. So the thing to do when you want to be an astronaut is imagine what skills you want to bring. And one of the skills you definitely get to bring to being an astronaut is making your bed. And I just showed you how to do that. Now, this is very important. Remember this repetition versus uniformity thing we were talking about right here? Repetition versus uniformity. I want you to have a question in your head all the time. It's a very simple question, and you're going to repeat it. You're going to have it in your head all the time. You do it by practice, so I'm going to remind you, and we're starting it today. And here it is. How am I helping? How am I helping? How am I helping? I'm gonna remind you about this forever from here on out, because I'm giving you a superpower, because we can train our minds in the same way we train ourselves to make our beds. How am I helping? How am I helping? How am I helping? This definitely plays into what we're talking about today. Oh, how am I helping? I've got a couple friends that remind me. You can help by subscribing. If you're a grown-up and you want to buy me a coffee, because I teach people how to cough in their sleeve, pow, and how to make their bed, you can go to mikemongo.com and click on Buy Mike a Coffee. Clicking the subscribe button, super is helping. How am I helping? Click subscribe. And asking ourselves, how am I helping? You know, I love this. I tell you what, I hope all of you get one of these whiteboards at some point, having this to draw on and have ideas. I draw my ideas. I draw ideas on this all the time. How am I, capital I, helping? No runs, no drips, no errors. You know, I got a friend from when I was growing up. His name's Shepard Ferry. We did graffiti art together. Can you believe that? True. How am I helping? We used to draw and stuff. We weren't supposed to. How am I helping? How am I helping? I got to tell you the truth. Even though Shepard and I used to do graffiti art, well, a lot of times we weren't doing it to be mean or ugly. We were putting really cool looking stuff in places that wasn't being used. So how we were helping is bring art to make it easily available to everybody. Even graffiti artists can help. How about that? Amazing. But I want you to keep this. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? Pow. How am I helping? 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 You don't have to say it out loud. You get to say it to yourself. In any situation all day long, we got a new sentence we're incorporating in our thinking. Because astronauts help. Astronauts help. Astronauts always make their bed. Astronauts help. And how I'm going to help you get to be an astronaut as an astronaut teacher is I teach you the magic sentence. Magic. Imagine having a sentence that by playing it in your head repetitiously over and over and over, it gets you wherever you want to be. And that sentence is right there. How am I helping? Don't say, how are you helping? How are you helping? That's not it. How am I? How am I? I want you to say it just like me. How am I helping? How am I helping? So today's question, remember what today's question is? Why are we going to space? How am I helping? Good question, see? This is awesome. This is why we're going to space. These are some of the, I got one more too, but this is the sustainability, health, energy, equity. Sustainability, health, energy, equity. Why am I going to space? Sustainability, health, energy, and equity. It could be Sustainability, health, energy, and equity. Sounds like equality, but it's equity. So sustainability, we all know what that means. That means having enough. That means having resources and continually being able to have enough resources. When we have a sustainable lifestyle. Like if we're just buying stuff and we're like, you know what? Here's a funny thing. If you buy one of something, it's kind of expensive, but if you buy 10 of something, it's less expensive because like that's just how it's made. Like it's easier to ship 10 things than it is to ship one thing kind of thing. So it's more sustainable when you that's called budgeting. It's very practical. You have to have money to make that happen. Sometimes people can't afford to get 10, so they buy one. And then but it's not sustainable. Especially when some people have enough to buy 10,000 instead of just one, and some people don't have enough to buy one. That's not sustainable. That's sort of what we're at right now. That's what we're working with on Earth. And that is one of the things why we're going to space. Health, mental health, how I think and feel. Remember, this morning, the very first thing I ask you is how you feeling. I hope you had a good day. You okay? It's important. Health is not just our breathing and our heartbeat and our blood flow. Health is mental health. Health is also our heart, our lungs, our organs, our brain. Our brain and our mind are two different things. Our mind exists in our brain. Are you following me? This is a lot of information. And a lot of times grown-ups say that a student is not mature enough or sharp enough, or your mind is not developed enough to understand this stuff. That's not how I look at you. I look at you as smart as me. Got it? And so these are the things, like these are only 4 things: sustainability, health, energy, and equity. You can do that. 4 things: sustainability, health, energy, and equity. I even made it sound like a word, she, so that you understood it, she. Sustainability, health, energy, and equity. Health there's a saying you'll learn when you grow up, and you may know it now. Remember, not everybody who is young is healthy. Do you know somebody who's young and not healthy? Is it their fault? Pardon me. Is it their fault they're not healthy? No. Almost never no. If a person eats sugar all the time and doesn't eat any healthy food, that can cause health problems. Whose fault is that? If nobody tells you that that's a problem, then whose fault is that? But if we know what's good for us and we do it, then we're gonna be healthy. But sometimes, even when we know what's good for us and we do it, we're out of health. So by going to space, like we were talking about sustainability, in space we recycle. We recycle everything because we have to. What is with the lights today? Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Batman used to say, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Let's try this one. See if that one works. Sustainability means we have a lifestyle that is sustainable. If we're not healthy, we're not going to have a sustainable lifestyle. If we're healthy, that engenders, creates, fosters, develops, helps. How can I help? Sustainability. If we're healthy, we're sustainable. If we're not healthy, that's not sustainable. We won't live. Health is super important. And by going to space, we can learn stuff. Like, this is really interesting. Like, think about this. Okay, so you know how you're in space and you're floating around and there is no gravity, it's microgravity, very, very little gravity. There's not enough gravity to hold you to the spaceship. You're floating around inside the spaceship like astronauts do. So then, doesn't gravity affect how our blood works? Doesn't our body, by being born in gravity, put like certain blood in certain places and work harder to get blood up here and not have to work hard to get blood to our feet? Well, if we're in space and we're standing, how does that work? It doesn't. And sometimes, you ever see an astronaut and their face is kind of round, like not just round like mine, but round because it's filled with fluid. Like we have water, we have blood in our head, in our bodies. And so we learn how the cardiovascular system works by going to space. Now, one of the big health problems in the whole world is heart problems. And we learn about how how the heart is affected by gravity. We learn about how blood flows by being in microgravity. We learn how to make pacemakers. Tells the heart how fast to beat. Some people's heart needs some help like that. That's health. It's just how it is. So having a little machine that helps it beat on time, we got that from the space program. That's cool. And there's all kinds of stuff like that. There's medicines that we can only make in space because the way that liquids form in space, you know how when you you squeeze out a squeeze bottle and it forms into a ball of liquid? Well, the way that liquids behave in space is one of the things that makes it possible for different materials to take place, even changes the way that molecules bond together, the way that molecules in a liquid connect and layer against each other. Like sometimes medicine has a sheath or covering of one kind of medicine, and inside is another kind of medicine. In space, that can change. How the medicine forms, just because there's no gravity, can change. And we can create and formulate medicines that we genuinely cannot create right here on Earth. And that's why you being a space doctor is a great idea. You being a space pharmacist is a great idea, excuse me. You being a space nurse is a great idea. Got it? So health. Why do we go to space? Sustainability. We can't have Earth without sustainability. We can't have humans without health. Leading us to this one. E. E is for energy. Energy. Oh, wow. Isn't that funny? My light kept on going out. I kept on running out of energy. The batteries were dying. Like energy is super important. Energy from the sun. Look, right here. Energy. It's on the ground. Solar energy right there. Right there. So you know how we have the sun hits us, the sun's coming in right here. The sun is landing on me right here. And we could do solar energy off of the sun rays that's coming in right now. However, because we have the atmosphere protecting us from the full intensity of the sun, there's actually a lot more sun energy outside the atmosphere. So we can in space collect sunlight and beam it down to Earth in really solid concentrated beams of microwaves. Like really concentrated, not like a big spread of microwaves, but like a laser beam of microwaves. And then we could send energy down that way from space where there's a lot more solar energy to places on Earth that would capture the energy and distribute it as electricity around the world. How about that? Energy. Here's another one. This is a great one. I love this one. I want you to learn about nuclear fusion. Not nuclear fission, fusion. Fission is when an atom splits apart. Fusion is when an atom blends with another atom or molecule, atom. So nuclear fusion, there's only a few. Nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion. If we do nuclear fusion when we do nuclear fusion, we can do nuclear fusion, but it's generally kind of radioactive. But we can theoretically, because we have the math, we've done the work, the science that shows us this, we can create clean nuclear fusion, which everybody thinks of nuclear and radiation like this, like they're the same thing. But we can have clean, non-radioactive nuclear fusion, because nuclear isn't really about radioactive per se. That's not really what it means. You can Google what does nuclear mean. And it'll even tell you how to spell it. It doesn't. Nuclear is a funny word. Nuclear. If I was gonna spell nuclear, if it was just a word I was gonna spell, I would spell it nuclear. I would say nuclear. I'm not even pronouncing it right, because it's not actually nuclear, even though everybody says that. It's this. New. Clear. Nuclear. 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 That's how you spell it. Nuclear. So you can Google what is nuclear. 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 Not nuclear. No nuclear. It's nuclear. What is nuclear? Okay? You can Google that. Because if we get nuclear fusion that is clean, we'll have enough energy for everybody on the planet. And energy is what we spend a lot of money on. And money is what, and having not having enough money is one of the things that makes everything not sustainable. So having more energy for everybody to use and not having to really pay for it, make it really inexpensive, would make it really great. Well, nuclear fusion works really well in very cold temperatures. Guess what space is? Pow. And we already know that we can collect solar energy from space and beam it back down to Earth. Well, we could do the same thing with nuclear fusion. Okay? So that's another reason that that spaces benefit everybody. Why go to space? So we go to space for sustainability, go to space for health, we go to space for energy, to get better at this stuff, to figure new stuff out that we don't have right now, to make life on Earth more sustainable. We're actually going to space. We're solving for space to solve all the challenges we face on Earth. Ooh. Hey, remember the blackberry seeds we grew? Speaking of sustainability, look at this. Look, check it out. See the roots? Look at the roots. Aren't those cool? We're gonna put these, we're learning how to grow. These are our space blackberries. This was, I got these seeds from blackberries that I got from the store. I just put the seeds on a napkin, let them dry out for 2 days. We did that, remember? On May 22nd, on the Space Plants episode. And today is June 10th. And now we've got all of these blackberry seeds with roots. We're gonna put these in the ground and we're gonna grow our very first space blackberries. Blackberries in space. What kind of space fruits can we grow? What kind of things can we do in space? What kind of foods can we create? Can we create food that is even more nutritious in some ways? Is there, speaking of health, is there surgery that can be done in space that can't be done on Earth? What about people who have difficulty standing? What about people with disabilities? Maybe their lifestyles would be a lot better in space. And because we need people working in space to achieve all of these goals, maybe people with disabilities are better suited to live in space. Wow, look how it all connects. I mean, imagine if you had disabilities, if your legs didn't work, maybe your legs don't work. Maybe your legs don't work. Maybe it's difficult for you to breathe and it would be easier for you to breathe in space without gravity. Got it? There's possibilities here. We can solve all the challenges we face on Earth by solving for space. And the last one here on this list, the sheet, is equity, which I told you is a lot like what people call, equality. And equity is not like equality, but equity creates equality. Equity is when you have enough and I have enough and our neighbors have enough and our family has enough. Equity is when everybody doesn't just have, we all have a piece. It's a fair piece when we own part of what's going on. So if everybody, people who rent houses, they rent to get to live where they live, but somebody else owns it. And then somebody works to buy that property and they had to struggle to get to where they're going to. Usually, sometimes, their parents are rich and they just gave it to them. There's all these different conditions. But the fact of the matter is, we have enough on Earth for everybody to have shelter, water, food, medicine. We have enough. We have an imbalance. Somehow or another, we worked out. I think it was the way that we started. You got to remember, it hasn't always been this good. We didn't always have medicine, for instance. We had treatments. Once upon a time, we thought that we cured cancer with slugs that sucked our blood. Really. And now we're getting better at that. It's not like we're great at it. Imagine in the future if we can figure out how to do a surgery without using a knife, without using a scalpel. Like, we got robot surgeons from NASA's space program that developed because of NASA. Now we have robots that make really fine, sharp lines, very, very precise. Like, and just take out whatever needs to be taken out or fix and sew up. You ever have to get a stitch? I used to have to get stitches. I would get like a cut on my head or on my hand or something. I have to go get a stitch. Now we have little robots, like robot surge, like machines, take care of it fast, boom, and it's amazing. And that came from space. So I want everybody to have access to that kind of medicine, to that kind of energy, to that kind of health, to that kind of sustainability. I want everybody to have enough so that when we all have enough toilet paper, for instance. Remember how during the pandemic, which is why this whole show happened, because quarantine is training for space. Remember how some people didn't have enough toilet paper and other people had way too much? That's impractical. On a space station, everybody shares. We share and we work it out. And I think we can do that here on Earth too. And that's why we're having this conversation. This is the whole point of this was why go to space, right? Well, how am I helping? Remember, that's the idea. From here on out, me and you. It's that. Look, the energy in this one too. What's with these batteries? I don't know. That's funny. So, from here on out, I'm going to ask you, how am I helping? How am I helping? And the reason I'm not just going to ask you that, I'm going to ask you that so you have it in your head so that when you're having your day and you're figuring out what the world is all about and what your day is like, ask how you're helping. Not how can this person, how can I get this, and why am I not getting enough? How am I helping? How are you helping others to help you get enough? How are you helping? Are you helping by making your bed? Are you helping by cleaning up your dishes? Are you helping by putting picking your clothes up off the floor and putting them in the laundry room or in the hamper? Are you helping by picking up your room? Are you helping by taking care of your homework, or are you helping by not having to be reminded to study math in between video games and Netflix series? Are you helping that way? Are you helping by helping others understand math and reading when they don't understand it? Like if you have a younger sister or a younger brother or a neighbor who doesn't understand something, are you helping? Are you being patient? Are you being considerate? These are all skills that will work, that will get you the job in space that you want. These are all skills that will get you the job in space that you want. Being considerate, being compassionate, and the secret is that from here on out, you're going to have a question. You're going to walk around to the rest of the world. Everywhere you go from here on out, you're going to keep a question in your head. And that question is, how am I helping? How am I helping? Now, I'm not expecting you to remember it every single step of the way. Sometimes you need help, and that's okay. Sometimes I need help, and that's okay. And then when I don't, the reason I'm having this conversation with you right now, how am I helping you get to space? How am I helping make a world where we have sustainability, health, energy, and equity? How am I helping? I'm helping by helping you get to space so we get the answers, the solution. Because there's something on this planet that really affects us. Look, this is super crazy. This is what it's all about right here. Nuclear fusion and energy and health and sustainability all have to do with this thing. I call it the illusion. Wait, did I spell it right? Illusion of scarcity. I've talked to you about it before. Let me do a quick Google. When I get caught up in the moment, sometimes I'm like, wow, did I spell illusion right? Better check. ILLUS. Yep, spell it right. Illusion. Illusion of scarcity. Scarcity, do you know what that means? When things are scarce, the illusion of scarcity. This is why we're going to space. The illusion, that means it's a quote. The illusion of scarcity. Wow. This thing right here. Whoa. Like the scarcity of this battery over here. How come there's no battery? How come there's no energy in that battery? That's really the question. The illusion of scarcity. The illusion of scarcity. The illusion of scarcity is there's not enough on the planet. There's not enough in the world. There's not enough food. There's not enough groceries. There's not enough air. There's not enough water. That's not the case. That's just not the case. This is the important thing, particularly since we're talking about space, because Earth is just one planet. There's 8 more planets, plus planetoids, dwarf planets like Pluto. There's asteroid belt. There's so much out there. And the illusion of scarcity is the illusion of scarcity even on our planet without all the other planets. If we just had Earth, there's only 7.3 billion of us on this ginormous planet. You ever driven anywhere and see how much space is in between places? There's so much here. And somebody owns all of that. So how can we be in a place where there's so much and there's people that don't have enough? And I'll tell you how. It's this. It's the illusion of scarcity. And space helps us solve that with equity. Equity. Equity is the distribution of it all. Our distribution system is wonky. We haven't got it down yet. So some people have too much and some people don't have enough. So once we figure that out, once we figure out equity, we get through this illusion of scarcity. There's no such thing as scarcity. Okay? Except in that battery right there. The energy in that battery is still scarce. 3 batteries in all of them. I don't know. Like, yeah, there you go. Technology. What can you do? So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I had we always do Q&A, right? So Q&A, I had some questions. I had some stuff I wanted to. Ooh, hit the power cord. Ooh, I really hit the power cord. Wow, I just turned out the lights. We have an energy scarcity today. Energy scarcity. Pow. And then we put some thought into it, and then the scarcity goes away. Okay? And you can do this. It's really important that you work on this stuff. How am I helping? And the illusion of scarcity. These are things that your work in space and by doing the stuff about going to space and doing the work it takes to get to space, that's going to help solve these challenges. This one right here, equity, is the big one. To break through the illusion of scarcity. What was I going to... Oh yeah, question. Got a Q&A. Pop out. Super happy to be having this conversation with you. Very mature conversation you're having today. I don't know how you felt when we started. I hope you feel great right now. I'm very impressed with the quality of conversation that we've had today. You're an amazing listener. I should have drawn something for you. Yeah. Since you're so awesome. What do you want me to draw? Spaceship? You got it. For you, anything. For you, anything. You know, spaceships are definitely my favorite. So, I think of this part right here. I don't know what that part is called. It usually has this is usually where the energy takes place. And then there's some sort of exhaust. And then, oh, wow, I love this kind of ship. And to tell you the truth, there's usually something like this right here. I love that kind of part as well. And because it's space, and space can be any shape, I'm gonna make this right here. Now I'm gonna make this part right here like that. And that. Like this. We're gonna put a door right here. Okay? A little bit more of a lip right here. And I'm gonna put another one of these right here. On the other side. More of a lip. Cool. So there's two of those. And then there's probably some sort of shield. There you go. Spaceship. Never drawn it before. Now, before I wrap up today, I had a friend who asked a question. Let's see what she said. Oh. Who pays for NASA? She asked. I think I may have asked her question. Her name is Salome Ariza Arango. And this is her. That's her. And I know her from Colombia, South America. Colombia, South America. Who pays for NASA? She said, who pays for NASA? And I said, okay, so we pay for NASA, you and me, all of us. So everybody in the US who pays taxes and buys stuff and pays for NASA. And so she said, well, I'm in Colombia. I said, well, you have a space program there too, because I work with people in the space program in Colombia. It's smaller, but it's there. And so you pay for that. So in the way that we in the United States pay for NASA here, you pay for your space program in Colombia. And she said, how can I be an astronaut? And I said, you know, what skill are you going to be bringing to that? And she said, let's see, I think she wrote down answer. She hasn't given me an answer on her career yet. She's still a student. You saw, she's relatively young. I think she's in middle school. And then she says that, oh, this crazy sentence. Honest to God, she implied to me that she was not smart. She implied that, and I don't know where she got that untruth. That's like the illusion of scarcity. She had an illusion of scarcity about her own thinking, but look how smart she is. She reached out to me to figure out how she can live, work, and play in space, how she can be an astronaut. In middle school, I wish I was that smart when I was in middle school. I wish I took that initiative, and she used Instagram to do it. And that's what is possible for you. I want you to use all the resources that you have at your disposal. If they're books, use books. If they're calculators, use calculators. If they're smartphones, use smartphones. If television is your only thing that you can learn by, if you just have YouTube, use that. Google the thing that you want to learn about. Whatever the thing is you want to learn about, use the resources at your disposal. Okay? And ask for help, like Salome did. Ask for help. Find friends and grown-ups who are your allies, who really support you and believe in your dreams. Got it? Putting it through to you right now. You surround yourself with allies, people who are asking, how can I help? Because I see a student like you who wants to go places and is doing the work to get there, and I ask myself, how can I help? Sometimes how I help is just by introducing them to another person, another professional. Maybe they're really good at something. It could be great at art. They could be great at math. They could be great at engineering and mechanics. All these different, at design, at fashion. Astronaut Mae Jemison taught me about space fashion. The importance about fashion in space. It's not just about what you wear, it's the materials that we're using in space and why that's important. And that's how fashion plays into space. And art and dance and poetry. And so I know people who do that kind of work, and I will introduce you just the same way that people around you who believe in you are going to open up doors for you. So surround yourselves with the people. You find use the resources at your disposal, like Arthur Ashe, the tennis pro, always said. Start where you are, work with what you can, and work with what you have, and do what you can. Start where you are, work with what you have, and do what you can. Start where you are, work with what you have, and do what you can. And he became tennis champion of the entire world. They became tennis champion of the entire world. And you can achieve any goal that you're after with these steps. Very first, ask, how am I helping? Forget about the illusion of scarcity. Of course, Salome, you're smart enough. Wow, holy smokes. Smarter than I was when I was you. Pow, pow, pow. Look where I am today. So you get where you're going as long as you follow these. Use the resources around you. Start where you are, work with what you have, do what you can. Arthur Ashe. Okay. I'm glad we had this conversation today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. That's the most valuable thing in the entire world, and you shared it with me. You made my day. Keep up the good work. In the words of our people, pow, pow, pow.